last day of class. Ain't it sweet? We've only been in this classroom together for 12 weeks. Learning and laughing and having a great time. We thought we'd end with style. We hope that's fine. We're Team Moses. We never fail. Today we present to you A Buck's Tale. The story of a girl that had some really bad days. Without further ado, Maria, take it away.
Hey guys. Alright, so I'll tell you about my sad days. It involves work in ministry. Of course, I started working at Starbucks, and then I met my manager. She was Spanish as well, so we got on. And then a couple of days after, she told me that she was going through a crisis. Her daughter was going through like a homosexual relationship. She didn't know what to do, so she became a Christian. So, as she was a new believer, what should I do? Then a couple of months after, I realized that I was spending 3 hours in the office just trying to help her in her spiritual life. Emotionally, she was going through a lot. So what she did is she put all the work on me. I became an assistant manager, and I was doing everything. Plus, helping her on the spiritual side. After almost 2 years, I was exhausted. I just didn't want to be a working Lord. And then I exploded. I didn't have any boundaries. I decided to go and tell her everything. So then I think I'm going to tell you what happened after.
As you can see, a few issues are at hand. For starters, boundaries weren't set in places where they probably should have been. By being a listening ear on the regular, Maria may have allowed Olga to become too reliant on her, which resulted in Olga unloading all of her responsibilities onto Maria. Because Maria is such a nice person, she handled things appropriately and did all of Olga's work, only for Olga to take credit for all of it. It's easy to see how a poor leadership is being modeled in taking credit for what Maria did, even though it isn't her job in the first place. It got to the point where Maria's faith was being exploited. Olga would say things like, if you're really a Christian, you would be the light, and do it for God. Now obviously, Maria couldn't have known it would have led to this. They say hindsight is always 20/20. Today it's easy to see that Maria probably should have stood up for herself once the situation started to interfere with her work hours. By not standing up for herself, the situation only escalated. Even though Olga would start treating other workers better after having a chat with Maria, Maria had to go home with the sense of responsibility every day she left and returned to work. Just a reminder, in this case study, Maria is the one having the problem.
So, what can we do with this case here? The alternatives we came up with are, we recommend that Maria find a spiritual mentor from her church, one who's mature, that she can talk to and confide in and tell her what's going on. We also suggest that Maria write her a resignation letter and just simply leave. Another thought that came was, she should talk it over with the manager, inform the supervisor of Maria, of Olga and Maria, whether orally or written, a letter to inform her what's going on with the responsibility and the overwhelming way she's handling the responsibility. We suggest that Olga and Maria meet in a private setting outside of work and talk about it and express her feelings that, how she's feeling and how overwhelmed she is. We also suggest that Maria introduce the problem or tell the problem to her church or her pastor and see what kind of feedback they would have or advice they would give her. Another thing that came up was that Maria should just distance herself from Olga. That would indicate to her in a non-verbal way that she's not happy with how she's handling the situation. Another thing, we thought that Maria needs to have a training on what is healthy boundaries. So she could take the initiative and research on what healthy boundaries are, considering that the environment, the work environment, it's a fast-paced environment where, not many benefits and training. She should seek alternative on how to set boundaries for herself in a situation like that. And with saying that, she would have the courage to stand up to Olga and say no. This, set her boundary, or tell her nicely but politely what her responsibilities are and what her, Maria, is responsibility is also. Okay, Julie, take it away.
For the decision making, let's set the standard. Because Maria is a Christian, we want her to be a good witness, to be the light and the salt among her co-workers. And as a fact, Olga is a new believer. We also want to help Olga grow. What we do must benefit her spiritual growth. We also need to protect the co-workers. We don't want to have a negative impact on the culture of this workplace. We want to maintain professional standards, separate personal issues from work. Maria needs to set time boundaries. We want to maintain the relationship between Maria and Olga. We don't want to lose Olga's trust and openness Maria has built. We want to protect Maria from what Maria has experienced. It's really affect her personal health and her mental, physical, spiritual well-being. We need to consider Maria's ability to maintain herself. That means financial stability.
All right, so let's narrow it down. We got a bunch of alternative solutions, and we got our criteria. So our team is proposing 3 different solutions. Number 1 is just to quit the job. This is kind of the most common decision that people would normally come to, but it's also not a strawman option either. The problem currently that we're facing is a combination of private life and professional attitudes. And these are being fused together currently. So we're going to separate the professional, focus on the private. Maria can find a different job somewhere else, but still maintain relations with Olga. As long as we're not interfering with what's going on with what's happening at work and keeping that burden away, we could potentially have a good relationship and help Olga continue to grow and have her continue witness to the coworkers there. Number 2 is kind of the opposite. Number 2 is focusing on the private life, focusing on the professional life rather than the private life. So drawing professional boundaries, telling Olga, hey, we can't keep having 3-hour-long conversations at work about your spiritual life. You have your own Christian community. I recommend you kind of talk to them, get the prayer group going, and continue to grow that way. But the professional standards at Starbucks continue, jobs get done, and Maria's not working extra hours and not being paid for. Number 3 is a bit of a process. Helping Olga find mentorship at her own church, and Maria herself finding support from her own church community by taking the onus of the conversation away from the workplace. Hopefully we're decreasing the amount of time that's being spent at Starbucks, but still maintain that relationship. So growth is happening on both parties while still figuring out how to work within the same professional environment. All right, Jim?
So at the heart of this case study is the question, does the end justify the means? Does Olga sacrificing her time justify, does this transparency and spiritual growth gained by sacrificing one's work time justify keeping silent about one's growing anguish and unhappiness? After much discussion, we think that the answer is no. Here on the screen is what we think is the best alternative. We think that she should help her find a mentor, that is Olga find a mentor, and find herself help and support, that is for Maria can help and support she needs. But also taking a time to speak to Olga to address the issue. We think that the sticky dynamics of this relationship need a healthy openness that is prescribed in Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 to 17, when Jesus tells his followers to talk to a person who has offended you or has sinned. Furthermore, we think that having multiple parties involved is more healthy and more effective. We believe that ministers, such as Maria in this case, need a supportive community to support her. And we believe that taking into account all practicalities and the strength of working together with the body of Christ, that Olga would be better and more effectively served, and Maria would be protected by following these scriptural precepts.
For starters, having Maria confront Olga, the boss, and tell her the situation wasn't healthy could potentially alleviate the problem. If not, the next best thing for Maria to do would be suggesting Olga finding that person that she can learn from. Remember that Maria was Olga's coworker, not her therapist. Being nice and kind and considerate is one thing, but that doesn't mean Maria is obligated to take on Olga's problems. Maria will confide in someone about the situation outside of work and pray with them, so Maria isn't alone on this venture. After which, she could draw better boundaries at work as things settle and reconcile relationship and work towards a better work environment. As a little side note, she and Maria still keep in touch and are on good terms to this very day. Go ahead, Maria.
So after hearing all of us about leadership over there, I wanna illustrate leadership in these three. These ones are my three friends. So this little friend here is a small senior who thinks that he's a very good leader, that does almost everything perfect. He's the middle senior who thinks that I'm a good leader, I can still improve, but I'm working on it. And this one is like, oh man, I think I screwed it up. At some point I felt like this when we were doing this with my group, but this is what is beautiful. Is that it doesn't matter if we're like the small senior, or if we are like the middle senior, or if we are like the worst leader or senior. You know why? Because through Christ, we can be changed, transformed, we can learn, we can help each other to grow through the cross. And of course I learned something that I would like to mention is that throughout these full 2 years, going through a lot, it was a lot of spiritual from God to grow in my own life. And also to see God's prayer, like answer her prayers and see her growing at the end. So when she called me one night at 2 a.m. saying that her daughter decided to make a different decision, she was crying. And then after a couple of months, I got a new job, which like I'm very happy. So with that,
I give God thanks for everyone in this team. Kel calling the shots, he's a man with a dream. Team hospitality, it knows no rival. Marlene faces every situation with a smile. Julia has the most loving heart. Maria is a fashionable woman with art. My name's Darren Bailey Jr., and if you've got any questions, why don't you ask him soon?